The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 97. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of real women producing extraordinary results by finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook at our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan. And today I have a phenomenal lady on today. She's going to share her story. She is a brand strategy coach, best-selling author, motivational speaker, and, she's a gutsy woman. So, what we love is people who just are willing to do whatever it takes, have the guts to go do what they want. And, this woman is a great example. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Jenny Pfennig. Jenny, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Sure. Great to be here, Sheena. Thanks so much for having me. So yeah, you said it. I consider myself a leader of spiritual business leaders. That's my thing. And I absolutely adore doing my work. The bulk of my business is online, right? So I have students and clients all over the planet, which I adore. I live in the Berkshires of Western Massachusetts. It's this little gem, like 2 hours from New York City, 2 hours from Boston. I'm a mom of 3 young children who keep me on my toes and teach me something every single day. I'm married to a great guy named Steven, and I'm so grateful, honestly, to technology and the internet for connecting us all. I love podcasts. I so appreciate you having this podcast. A few weeks ago, I launched mine, which is called Get Gutsy. And I honestly feel, although I'm 38 years old at the time of this recording, that I honestly feel like my career is just getting started. Like every day, I'm just so excited to sit down and do the work or be out in the world and doing the work. And I think that's the greatest gift that we can experience in this life, is to find work that we absolutely adore, that is a true expression of our soul, and to get out there and do it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I love the internet as well. I mean, being able to connect with people from all over the world, whether it's Singapore, Australia, Africa, it's just the power of the internet can do so much things. So I'm really grateful for it as well. And, Jenny, what's your cultural background?
I am what I call a white girl raised in Florida and Georgia. They have those boxes to check on the form. I'm like, white, like Caucasian, like just that, I have influences from Europe. I'm part Italian, part Irish, part English, part Dutch. I've got all that blended in, but, white girl raised in Florida and Georgia. I moved to New York City after college to pursue a career in public relations. Like that was me totally just following my dream. And I had a pretty big career there for a decade, working in corporate. I know that world very, very well, and realized that was not the world that I was going to continue to stay in, because that wasn't the place where I could fully be expressed and sharing my talents and gifts with the world. So discovered yoga, discovered coaching, got certified in both of those arenas. And then I moved from New York to the Berkshires, where I call the cultured country. So I feel like I can be very cultured here. You ask my cultural background, like there's a lot of culture here. So while there's not a ton of diversity where I live right now, there was obviously a lot more in New York City, and I loved that about New York. It's very cultured where I live. So we have theater and dance and music and great restaurants and just access to the arts, which I'm very grateful for as we're raising a family here.
Awesome. Well, I'll have to check those places out. So thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
It's a quote by Helen Keller, and it's this: "Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence."
I love that. And, I love Helen Keller, someone who pretty much beat the odds, right? She couldn't hear, she couldn't see, but yet she has impacted so many people around the world. So great quote. And, in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
To me, it's being who you are, wherever you are, and with whomever you're with. So that was something I learned once I left the corporate world. There's nothing wrong with corporate. I'm not here to bash it. It was just realizing that was not the place that was going to allow me to be fully me and, having this great business and touching lives all over the world. But once I left corporate and I got out on my own and I really started studying coaching and personal growth, I realized that in many places in my past, I was putting on a facade. I was putting on a show, and I would be this person to this group and then this person to that group. I felt like I had to have all these different masks. Part part of it might have been the fact that I'm also a Gemini. So I can, that's the sign of the duality, the sign of the twins. But to me, self-confidence now, just where I am on my journey, what I've learned and what I embody to my tribe, to my people, and with my family and all of that, it's just be who you are. Be who you are, wherever you are and with whomever you're with. You don't have to change to fit in a mold or to please people. That's a recipe for disaster and burnout. And often we have to learn the hard way on that.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And it's true, right? I mean, sometimes there's some things you're not going to be aligned with. Like you said, you didn't like corporate, it wasn't for you. And, some people love it, some people don't, right? So I'm glad you're able to find what you truly love and what's more alignment with you, right? So thanks for sharing that. And, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Well, I won't say it was like horrible. I had a lot of fun because I was experimenting. I was really, really experimenting. But there were some dark moments for sure, Sheena. There was, many years that I consider myself living in the dark, specifically looking for love in all the wrong places, crappy relationships, just being in romantic relationships or even friendships that weren't healthy, weren't nurturing, weren't supportive, ones that I would never be in now. But didn't know any better, right? As Oprah says, when you know better, you do better. Drugs, alcohol, I had experience with both of those substances. And, it was dark places where, again, I was putting all the power outside of myself. I was looking to other people or to these substances or to these, situations to give me the confidence that I didn't naturally feel myself. Essentially, I would dim my light because I just didn't know what to do with these talents and gifts that I have. I believe we all have them. So every listener has gorgeous gifts and tremendous talents. And when we don't know what to do with them, we often dim, and confidence is so crucial so that we don't get ourselves in trouble and waste this life that we've been given.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And I think it's also being as women, we're always told we should just do what everyone tells us to do, even though we have amazing talents, amazing skills. Sometimes we get dimmed by society, right? Because we're just good for certain things. When really, we have so much to offer, and, we shouldn't be afraid to show our talents, show our skills, show the power that we truly have. So, what was that time in your life when you realized, you can do anything that you wanted? Like, what was that aha moment?
For me, it's simply when I realized that the more that I stand in my power, really stand firm in that and connect with my creator. For me, that creator's God. For other people, it may have a different name, like the universe, source, spirit. But for me, I've gotten really comfortable with the word God and having a relationship there. So the more I've stood firm in my power and cultivated that relationship with my creator and made that spiritual relationship the most important relationship in my life, the more that I'm rewarded with amazing experiences, people, places, things, abundance, all of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm glad you're able to find that. And, what's your life like now after that realization?
I live a life beyond my wildest dreams, period. I every day literally wake up and I'm thankful. I'm thankful. And I have these conversations with spirit. I just say, thank you for this. Thank you. Now, my younger sister passed away when I was a teenager. She was 12 and I was 16. So that's been a huge piece of my journey. And now that I'm at this place where I really every day can be so grateful, it's very easy to take life for granted and to just bitch and complain about, like traffic or like the weather, And when you have experienced a trauma in your life, and we all have experienced trauma, either a big trauma or a little trauma, it teaches you something. It reminds you of, wow, I'm really grateful to be here. So my family is fantastic. My business is booming and blossoming and growing, and it keeps me engaged and challenged. And I literally I'm just so humbled and honored to do this work. And my health is fantastic. And that, I put time into it. I exercise and I take care of myself and I meditate and I eat great food and I create space in my life. I take time off when I need it. All of those elements are here now because I realized that my confidence and my peace of mind was so important to this journey and to me being successful.
Awesome. I'm glad, your life has been phenomenal, right? Being able to do what you want, being grateful. And, being grateful is such a big thing, right? Waking up just thinking, I'm so thankful to be alive, to be, in a great country. Like I wake up every morning thinking, oh my God, I'm in Hawaii. This is amazing,
yeah.
Right? Like
totally
nothing even like gets to me because I'm like, I see palm trees. I'm happy. I'm grateful.
Good.
So I get what you're saying when you like wake up and you're just so grateful, right?
Yeah.
For the things that you can create. And we all have the power to create our own reality. That's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
So Jenny, if our listeners, are in their own journey of self-confidence, they're going through probably the same things you're going through, what would be that one tip you would give to them?
Get gutsy. Get gutsy. That is my mission, my movement, my message. I've really created an entire business around this. It's so simple. Get gutsy. That translates into you listening to your gut. Listen, our bodies are very, very wise, especially, for women. Like, our bodies talk to us. We're governed by cycles. We're governed by the moon. I mean, really, when you think about that. And when you listen to your body, when you listen to your gut, and when you take action, inspired and perfect action, the entire world opens up for you. I'll give you an example of how I used this recently. Because I wrote a book called Get Gutsy, because my podcast is called Get Gutsy, because I have a new community called Get Gutsy University. Like, it's so awesome because I have to embody this, like every day. So I recently was at a conference and I saw this amazing woman speak. Her name is Sophia Amoruso. I don't know if you know of her, but she wrote a book called Girl Boss. And I love her book. I love what she's all about. She founded a company called Nasty Gal, and it's huge. It's like multi millions of dollars, like over $100 million company. And it started as an eBay store. So she's got an amazing message, and I was just so fired up to get her to sign a book for me, and her book was totally pivotal in my journey. And then, me just saying, I want to interview her for my podcast. So I simply invited her. I'm like, well, what would a Get Gutsy gal do? She would invite her to be interviewed on her podcast. So, that's what Get Gutsy is all about. It's just when you have this desire, when you have this dream, when you have this urge to do something that's going to advance your mission and this calling that you have in the world and the love that you're spreading, then go do it.
I love it, and I love that term, get gutsy. Sometimes we just got to do the action regardless of the result, right? I mean, I'm sure whatever the result was, you asking the author to be on your podcast, I mean, you just went ahead and did it because you're going to regret if you didn't take the action, right? You're going to be like,
that's right.
Man, I wish I should have asked her, right?
Yes.
And then you get you're so hard on yourself because you're like, why didn't I do that? Like, seriously, right? I mean,
totally.
We all go through it. So I'm really glad you were able to do that, and I really love that tip. And Jenny, if our listeners want to connect with you, want to know a little bit more about what you do, and maybe, find out more about your Get Gutsy program, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, totally. So I'm very active on Facebook and Instagram. Those are two biggies for me. So you can find me at Jenny Pfennig, my name. I have a cool free gift that you all can check out because one of the tools that I really am into is a vision board. I don't know if you use vision board, Sheena, but vision boards have totally changed my life. So gutsyvisionboard.com. Everyone can just grab that. And it's a really gorgeous guide to walk you through the creation of your board, which is essentially you're submitting your order to the universe about what it is that you want. And then to find out more about Get Gutsy University, we've just opened that. I'm super pumped about it. You can find out more at getgutsyuniversity.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Jenny, you can head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Jenny's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Jenny for taking the time to share her story. So, Jenny, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sheena. Keep rocking. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. To our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us at the Tao of Self-Confidence. Head over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com for full recaps of every show, our amazing blog articles and resources, and just plain fun. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits, so start today.